3 weeks ago, I backtested a 15-minute orb trading strategy to see if it could pass a prop firm challenge, and it did. So I decided to test it out 107 more times over the course of 5 months to see how well it would perform and to see if it would be worth trying out on a real prop firm challenge. And the results may shock you. Before we get started, I started my trader career path prop firm challenge with Earn a Trade, who has been in the business for 8+ years, has a 4.6 Trustpilot rating, and has great prices and reasonable rules. You can get up to 60% off using code EddyPipsTrading and start your trader career path today. Let's go over the analytics for the previous backtesting session that proved it could pass a prop firm challenge. And then we'll dive into the 107 trade backtests covering the drawdown, accuracy, winners, losers, and we'll even go over some trade examples that were taken during the backtest. Let's dive right in. If you haven't seen my previous video covering Liam's 15-minute orb trading strategy, I'll make sure to leave the link to that video in the description. So here we are looking at the analytics for the first backtest that passed a prop firm challenge. It yielded 21% profit, had a 47.95 win rate, which is pretty darn good, 35 total winners, 38 total losers, and you can see the profit that we had in each month. All right, so if we go over here to simulators and run scenarios, you can see at the current RR, which was 1.67, and that is because you exit out at 4 p.m. regardless if you're in profit or in drawdown. It yielded the second best results, which at 1.5 RR would have yielded a 55% win rate and a larger profit. Yeah, the strategy was pretty simple, and it was great to see how well that it did perform over 73 trades here during the month of January 2025 all the way over until April. So what I did was I went and the 107 trades that I backtested actually ended. So it continued from this for the rest of the year. So I started in May. Here during this backtested, it ended in April. So I started from May and I went all the way up until October. So let's go ahead and dive into those analytics. All right. So as you can see, results are completely different from the first 4 months of the year. So you can see here I started in May and I ended on the last day of September here. And we got a 35% win rate over the course of 107 trades and only profited 2.16%. That is not good at all. You can see the equity curve. It started off very rocky. Won some rocky, and it just stayed below our initial balance for quite some time, and then we went ahead and started winning, and then we went on a little bit of a winning streak, and then it was just stagnant, and you can see the peaks and valleys, and you can see that we profited, and then we went ahead and lost all the profit and never really stayed above initial balance. 38 winners, 69 total losers. This probably would have messed with a lot of people's psychology. Seeing just right here, a lot of traders would have quit and not stuck with the strategy, and for good reason, of course. But you can see the monthly breakdown right here, and if we go here, you can see the performance calendar. I'll go from May, and I'll go slowly here so that you can pause the video and take a look. And there you go. I actually did test 2 more here in October, but those were losses as well. Let's see, what was the max drawdown here? So it doesn't show the max drawdown here, but the max drawdown was 11%, and you can see that was right here with all of these losses in a row. But yeah, this strategy did not do well. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go over a couple of the trades that were taken. I think I have about 10 of them. So let's go on over there to the screenshots of those trades. All right, and here we are. Here is one of the trades. If you did see the original video, you are familiar with the rules, but essentially what we are doing is we are waiting for the first 15-minute candle to close at 9:30, and then we mark the high and low of the 9:30 candle on the 15-minute time frame. We drop down onto the 5-minute time frame and we wait for price to close above or below the high of that 15-minute candle. So here you can see I annotated the entry with a green arrow here. This was a win. You can see that we closed above the range. I apologize. Yeah, so it's right here. The arrow should have been right here, but you can see that's where the entry was. The entry was here, and then we targeted 2R. Stop loss was 5 points below the 50% of that 15-minute range. Let's go on to the next one. Here was a loss. You can see that we drew the high and the low of the 9:30 candle on the 15-minute time frame, dropped down onto the 5-minute time frame and waited for price to close above right here, which it did. You can see annotated by the green arrow, and we entered here and price went into profit a little bit and then just came down and smacked stop loss. Next one here was a sell and was also a loss. You can see on the 15-minute chart, we drew the high and the low of that candle. We waited for price to close below or above on the 5-minute time frame, and here it closed below. You can see annotated by the red arrow. This candle was our entry candle. Entered here, market executed, and put the stop loss 5 points above the 50% of that range, and you can see that it smacked stop loss. Here, another loss. You can see we drew the low and the high of that 15-minute candle, and we dropped down onto the 5-minute time frame and waited for price to close above or below that range, and you can see annotated by the green arrow here, this was our entry candle. We market executed, placed our stop loss 5 points below that 50% of that 9:30 a.m. range, and we market executed. We went into profit a little bit and completely reversed and hit our stop loss. Same thing here, every entry. This is why I test mechanical trading strategies, because no matter who is trading the strategy, the entry is going to be the exact same for absolutely everybody. So if you were to go and backtest this trade and you were to come to the chart and you were to go to the 13th, you would see this same entry here. We drew the high and the low of the 9:30 a.m. candle on the 15-minute time frame. We dropped down onto the 5-minute time frame and price closed below that 15-minute range with this candle right here that is annotated by the red arrow. We market executed, placed a stop loss 5 points above the 50% retracement. 50% of that range. You can see we went into profit a little bit and actually hit, I think, 1.5R here, and it completely reversed and hit our stop loss. We've got a couple more trades here. This one was a winner, and this is what a winner looks like, even though there were very few. Same thing, 9:30 candle, high, low, 5-minute time frame, waiting for price to close below that range, and you can see here it did on this candle, which is our entry candle, annotated by the red arrow here. And you can see that we market executed, stop loss same spot, and market came down and went straight into our direction. Here was a loss. You're understanding the rules now. High and low of that 9:30 a.m. candle. Here is the entry candle on the 5-minute time frame, closing below that range. Market execute, stop loss at the same spot, and you can see that it hit the stop loss right here. I think we have just 2 more trades here to review. Here was a winner. You can see low and high of that 9:30 candle. This is the entry candle annotated by the green arrow. We market executed. Stop loss goes below 5 points below that 50% range of that candle. And you can see that we hit take profit there. Here was another loss. You catch the drift. Entry candle went straight to stop loss. And the last trade here, this one was sad. As soon as we entered, price immediately returned and hit stop loss. So this strategy may have passed a prop firm challenge in the first video that I created in the first 4 months of the year. but the rest of the year was not great at all, with a total of 69 losers out of the 107 trades, with only a 2% profit in 5 months. All right. So is there any way for us to make this strategy better? I'm not sure 100%. I haven't really focused on the orb trading strategy, but somebody in the comments of my previous video did say that this strategy does work, and to filter out the trades more, you would actually just add a 200 EMA and only take trades in the direction of the 15-minute EMA. And so if price is above the EMA, you would only look for buys. If price is below the EMA, you would only look for sells. If you're interested in seeing that back test, please let me know in the comments below. And please, again, any other information that I can share with you to make these videos a lot more valuable, please share that in the comments below. I promise I do get a lot of comments on requests for strategies to be back tested, but I want to make it clear that I solely do focus on mechanical trading strategies. So I do avoid strategies that are subject to one's opinion. So they're very subjective. So the entries may not be the same for every person. I love mechanical trading strategies where regardless the person who is trading the strategy, the results are going to be the same no matter what. The next video that I will be dropping